Mathematicians. Today we're going to start by looking at some of the problems that connect to the patterns we did yesterday. Remember, yesterday we looked at how some numbers in subtraction problems switch places. Sometimes you see a number sentence or equation and it has the same numbers as a different number sentence or equation, but it's in a different order. Look at this problem. Okay, 3 take away 0 is equal to what? Let's think. We have 3. We take away 0, and we still have 1, 2, 3 left. If you have 3 and you get rid of 0, you don't give any away. That's the same as just having 3. Now look at this one. Three take away 3 is what? Now, do we need to solve it? Do we need to draw a picture and cross it out or use our fingers to figure out the answer? Did I hear you say no? Why not? That's right, the numbers are switching places. If you have 3 and you take away all of them, all 3, you're going to be left with none left. We know that if 3 minus 0 equals 3, then that means 3 minus 3 equals 0. Let's double check it to make sure. I drew 3 dots. Now I'm going to take away 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm left with nothing, with 0. So let's talk about something good mathematicians do, math thinkers do. When a math thinker gets a problem, they think, what is this problem trying to tell me? And what do they want me to find in the end? Then they think, how can I figure out this problem? What tools are going to help me? So you might say, I could really use a picture for this, or wow, I could really use cubes. And then you have to think, well, how am I going to use them? How am I going to show it? And then we have to think how we could write it to show it. If we're going to write an equation showing that something happened, some got added or taken away, we really have to think, what is that going to look like? Are we going to add and use a plus sign? Are we going to subtract and use a minus sign? Mathematicians have a lot to think about. Let's do one of these together, and I'll guide you through the questions. Okay, get out your counting cubes. You might want to use them. I'm going to take out 10. I'll put them over to the side for now. Okay, I'm going to tell you a problem. Listen closely. Alex has a food bar with 8 pieces of food for the flamingo birds at the lake. Heard that? He has 8 pieces of food on his food bar. He takes apart 2 pieces of the bar to feed the flamingos. How many pieces does he have left on his bar? Use one of the tools you have to help solve the problem. Draw a picture of what you did and write the equation. Okay, what tools can we use? Yeah, we could use manipulatives like cubes or counters, or really anything you have lying around your house that can pretend to be pieces of food. What do you know about Alex's food bar? What did they tell you? Yeah, we know that it has 8 pieces of food in the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What does he have at the start? He has 8 pieces of food. Then what happens in the story? That's right, 2 pieces of food get taken away to feed the flamingo birds. How can we show this? Yes, we can take away 2 cubes to show the 2 pieces of food that got taken away. What are you asked to find in the end? Yes, we need to know how many pieces of food are left. Listen to that part of the question again. How many pieces does he have left on his bar? That's what it wants us to find. It wants us to figure out how many pieces are left. What do you think? Will you write an addition or a subtraction equation? Why do you think that? You can say, I will use a equation because . Yeah, we're going to use a subtraction sentence. That's because we're taking away. We're not adding more food. We have some food to start, and then we're going to take some food away. Okay, what symbol should we use? Should we use a plus sign or a minus sign? Which one shows taking away? That's right, the minus sign. The plus sign is when you add more. The minus sign is when you take away. Can you write a number sentence to show what we just did? How about you do it with me on your whiteboard? How many did we have in the beginning? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of food to start. Then what happened? Then we took away 2. We fed them to the flamingos. Now what? That's right. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces left. Having 8 and getting rid of 2, 8 take away 2, is the same as having 6. They are equal. 8 take away 2 is equal to 6. Think about that for a minute. If we have 8 kids in our class, but 2 aren't there, we took away 2, that means we have 6 kids in our class. That's the same as having 6. 8 kids with 2 not there is the same as having 6 kids. 8 pieces of food take away 2 is the same as having 6 pieces of food. They are equal. Let's watch one of those videos now. This will be the end of our subtraction unit, so focus hard. All right, let's watch a visual problem to see.
There are 5 baby alligators in the marsh. 3 walk away. How many baby alligators are left in the marsh? What would be an appropriate tool to use to solve the problem?
What should we use to solve the problem?
Counters can be used to represent each baby alligator. You can also use paper and pencil or cubes.
We could draw a picture with our paper pencil.
Alex listened to the story and...
Oh, it's my turn. We can draw a picture with the paper or pencil, or we can use another manipulative like cubes. They show you counters here, but you could really use anything in your house. Little candies, beads, anything you have that you can pretend are little alligators.
And used counters to choose whether to add or subtract to solve the problem. Why are counters a good tool to use?
Why are counters good? Yeah, maybe they're easy to get and you can actually move them and pretend they're alligators.
You can line them up directly under each alligator. Why are there 5 counters?
Why did he put up 5 counters? You can say the 5 counters represent, the 5 counters are for the 5 alligators.
There are 5 alligators in the marsh. How can you tell whether this is an addition or subtraction problem?
Mathematicians, this is the important question of the day. How do you know if it's addition or subtraction? Addition is when you put things together, you add more. That's when you start with some and then you end up with a number that's greater, a number that's more. Subtraction is when you have some and you lose some. You take some away, you get rid of some, and you start with a number and then you end up with a number that's actually less, that's smaller. So in this problem, are we getting more alligators or are some alligators going to get taken away? Think about it. Remember, the alligators were walking and swimming away. What do you think, addition or subtraction? How do you know? You can say, I know because. Don't be afraid to tell the computer. That's how your brain gets ready.
Listen for the words in the problem like away and are left. How do you know this is a subtraction story? Some alligators walked away, so there will be a number less than 5 left. How can you solve the problem? Use the counters to act out the story. Then write an equation that matches it. How many counters should you cross out?
What do you think? How many counters should we cross out? Say, Miss Minion, you should. 3 walked away. So I'm going to cross out 3 counters. 1, 2, 3. The crosses show the 3 alligators that walked away. The number sentence says 5 minus 3 to show we had 5 and then 3 walked away. Minus 3.
Cross out 3 counters because 3 baby alligators walk away. How many counters are left? There are 2 counters left, so 2 baby alligators are left. Write the minus sign and complete the equation. 5 minus 3 equals 2. How can you make sure you subtracted correctly? You can use the counters to check. Now you know how to use tools to help you solve a problem.
Great job!
Yeah, great job. For homework today, I'm going to tell you a few problems. Now, they might be addition, they might be subtraction. Your job is going to be to figure out what kind of number sentence you need to write, and then act it out with a picture or some counters like cubes and marbles. But remember, listen closely. Are you doing addition? Are you adding more? Or are you doing subtraction? Are you taking some away? In addition, you start with some and you end up with more, a number that's greater. In subtraction, you start with some and you end up with less, a number that's smaller. Listen to the following story problems about guitars. Use pictures and or manipulatives to solve. Don't forget to write a number sentence. Think extra hard about whether the problem is showing addition, adding together, and use a plus, or subtraction, taking away, with a minus. Escuche a la siguiente historia de problemas sobre guitarras. Usa imágenes y o manipulativos para resolver. No olvides escribir una oración numérica. Piensa mucho más si el problema es sumar. Sumar o restar. Quitar. Today's math homework is going to be about guitars. You're going to need to use your whiteboard to solve the problem. Some problems will be addition and some will be subtraction. Some will even have you compare. Pay close attention. Here is Guitar store A. How many guitars are at this store? Count them. Write the number on your whiteboard. Press play when you're ready to watch the rest. Press pause while you're working. Here is guitar store B. This is a different guitar store. How many guitars do they have? Count and write the answer on your whiteboard. Press pause while you do it and press play when you're ready to move on. Okay, let's think about this. Which store has more guitars and which store has less? Can you tell me the number that is less? Which store has less guitars, the smaller number? Here's those pictures again of store A and store B to help you. Press pause while you do this work. I want you to figure out which store has less guitars. Now I'm going to tell you a problem. Think closely about how you can solve it and whether it's addition, adding more, or subtraction, taking some away. Remind yourself, how many guitars does store A have? Count them now. Store A gets one more guitar. How many guitars does store A have now? Write the number. Use counters or drawings or cubes or marbles or your fingers to show your work. Was this an addition problem or a subtraction problem? How do you know? Press pause while you figure it out. Press play when you're ready to check your work. Ready to check your work? 9 plus 1 equals 10. This is an addition problem because we're adding another guitar. We start with some and then we end up with more. Now let's look at store B. How many guitars did they have? Remind yourself by counting. Store B sells 2 guitars. How many guitars does store B have left? Write the number, use countings or drawings to show your work. Is this an addition problem or a subtraction problem? They had some guitars and then they sold 2 of them, and we need to figure out how many are left. Write a number sentence and draw a picture to show what happens. When you're ready to check your work, press play and I'll show you my sentence. Ready to check your work? 7 take away 2 equals 5. Store B had 7 guitars. They took away 2 by selling them, and then they had 5 left. It was a subtraction problem because we're taking away. We start with some, and then we end up with less.